Now, if you can just picture your feet, just look at the position of your feet and just say to yourself, imagine if those were the feet of the most successful and best salesperson I could ever be. How would the position of your feet change? You don't need to move them for now, but just imagine the position they would be in if you were your best sales self.
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. All right, well, now's the time in the show where I get to sit back, kick back, relax. Actually, I don't really, because I end up taking notes and being intensely interested in what's been said. But this is the point in the show that we've got our guest speaker, guest presenter, and tonight we've got a mate of mine, Howard Whiteson, all the way from Shanghai in China. Howard and I met on a course, in fact, one by the name of Jeff Walker, which is Launch. If you haven't picked up the book Launch by Jeff Walker, well worth reading that there if you are someone that produces courses or programs. Really good process for launching that. Anyway, this is not a pitch for him. This is a pitch for Howard. So Howard is someone that has been in the sales arena for a very long time and on camera or behind camera for a very long time as well too. So one of the things he's discovered during that is that selling, and particularly on camera, you're bringing those two things that people find sometimes distressing or sometimes a little uncomfortable together in one place. And he works with both of those mediums there. So Howard he's been on TV and he has also been rubbing shoulders with some of the stars, I guess you could call it, on screen. Two of those, one is he has been in a James Bond movie. And found out some interesting things about that when we were chatting just before the show there, but I'll let Howard talk to you about that, and particularly which Bond show that he was on. And he's also wowed Michael Jackson with a card trick as well too. He's had the privilege of acting alongside Sir Anthony Hopkins, Pierce Brosnan, and a Shakespearean actor by the name of Hugh Quashie. So between his acting gigs there, he has toured the globe as a charisma trainer. He has worked with famous actors and industry leaders and professionals in various corporations in this particular realm as well too. So he has worked with people, well, businesses like Apple and some of those large corporations as well too. But tonight he is here to talk to us about how to bring that whole sales and online process on screen together and to do it in a way that's authentic. So let's put our hands together and welcome to the screen, Howard Whiteson.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nick. And it's a pleasure to see some familiar faces, some new faces, and I'm very much looking forward to the next 15 minutes with you. So it's 4:30 here in Shanghai, so it's getting a little bit dark, but behind me, you may be able to see a very distinctive picture, and that is by an artist by the name of Guangzhong Wu. And Guangzhong Wu was the most famous Chinese artist for bringing Chinese art into the modern era. And this is an original piece by him. And it's just wonderful. It combines East and West. And he loved Chinese traditional art, but he also loved formalism and fauvism in the West. Now, this is not an art lesson. This is a sales training lesson. So what's that got to do with sales? Well, first of all, sales are both an art and a science. And secondly, I've put together a new program, and I'm going to be talking about a new book that I've got around the subject of taking your passion and making a profit from it. And a lot of people in the West, including me, we tend to be either or thinkers. You know, either I follow my passion or I make a profit. Which do you recommend, Howard? And Guangzhou Wu, I always do that the wrong way, by the way, there it is over there. Guangzhou Wu, he made his name by combining them. And so passion to profit, I believe that the secret to online sales success is combining our passion with our profit. That's why I have got a Chinese piece of art behind me. And the other reason is that if you have to choose between art and science when it comes to sales, I would always choose art. Nick and I were talking earlier about how essentially we are rebels at heart. And if everyone is going this way, Nick and I tend to want to go that way. And I don't know if any of you can relate to that in your particular career path or development, but my suggestion for you when it comes to sales is always to be looking at ways to be different from everyone else. You'll notice, for example, that I'm not using a script, I don't have any slides, and I ain't going to be making you a time-based manipulative offer at the end of this. Everything about what I do is somewhat different from everyone else. So yes, I've worked with some of the biggest names in the industry, and the way I was able to do that was precisely by being myself. However, can any of you relate to this just with a show of hands, or if you're off camera, just raise your hand? Do any of you struggle to bring your true self or your best self to the camera and to the sales process in particular? If none of you do, we could all go home and celebrate Christmas. Okay, yeah, a couple of you do. I know I have. Even though I've been in sales since I was 9 years old, I am now the sales trainer for the senior leaders at Apple. When I first came online, I struggled. I struggled with the process of sales. I struggled to be myself because in a sales situation, we're thinking of benefits, we're thinking of features, we're thinking of offers, thinking of how to engage, how to get attention, how to build up the excitement, many factors, how to our clients if we're one-on-one, how to pitch to many clients if we're one-to-many. So I'm going to give you a few exercises because I'm a very practical person. I've got a training in professional acting, and the root of the word act is to do. So I'm going to just give you one exercise. I'm glad, Ross, to see you're happy to be yourself on camera. That's fantastic. I am myself. I am my conscious self. I am an introvert by nature. I would rather be contemplating Guangzhou Wu, having a nice cup of coffee, reading a book. So how I switch on the best sales self is something I want to practice with you now. And this is a purely imaginative exercise that you can do before you go on camera. So I'd like you to make sure you're comfortable, make sure your feet are flat on the ground and they're not, your legs are not crossed and your arms aren't crossed, so you're nice and relaxed and comfortable. I want you to close your eyes and just simply follow along with me. I'll try you not to put you to sleep there, Gordon, and I hope we don't manage to do that. So if you just want to gently close your eyes, and what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you are floating up slowly out of your own body. So you're physically leaving your own body and floating up towards the ceiling. And as you get closer and closer to the ceiling, you know, the detailed ceiling, and you gently turn yourself around. You down on yourself as you sit at your laptop. And I just want you to have the attitude while you're up there of almost being a forensic doctor, just looking at your physical position, the way your hands and feet are placed, the way your clothing is, and the sort of energy you give off as you're sitting down there. Just take a minute to observe yourself from above. Okay. Now, if you can just picture your feet, just look at the position of your feet and just say to yourself, imagine if those were the feet of the most successful and best salesperson I could ever be. How would the position of your feet change? You don't need to move them for now, but just imagine the position they would be in if you were your best sales self. And then just think about the same thing with your legs. How would your legs be placed as you sit there to express that confidence, that effusive energy that you are your best bring? And then work your way slowly up your body, your torso, your chest, your shoulders. How are they held to give that ambience of your best sales self? Just to imagine the body moving, but don't actually move. And then just imagine your arms and your hands, how they would be placed as your best sales self. And then follow head. How would it be angled? How would it be shaped? Would it be tilted in some way? And what is the expression on the face of someone who is their best version of you? And just look down and calmly picture and imagine that person, and more important than the words, get a sense as you observe them of the energy that they are giving off, the energy coming from them as you observe. And then I just want you to slowly begin to descend back down towards yourself. And you float down, float down, float down, until you are level with your own self. And just look into your own eyes. Look at the expression on your face. And then you just get closer and closer and closer until you merge back into your own self. And as you merge back in, allow your feet to now move into the position that your feet would adopt yourself. Allow your legs to move into the place that they would be in, that you've imagined would be your best sales self legs. Allow your torso and your chest and your shoulders to express your best sales self. And allow that energy to flow down your arms and into your hands, and place your hands in the position of being your best sales self. And then finally, just allow that energy to flow up into your head and allow it to take the position of being your best sales self, and allow the expression where it is to fill your face and fill yourself with that energy of being your best sales self. And I just want you to sit there for a moment, filled with that energy of your best sales self. Notice how it feels. Notice how it feels now compared to how it felt before. And in your own time, just gently come back to yourself, as it were, come back to the room, open your eyes. Now, I know this won't work for everyone. Where is Fred? Can you just wave at me, Fred? Has Fred gone? I think Fred, maybe we visualize Fred out the room. I don't know. But anyway, there you go. One of the ways you can test this is to make a video about any subject you want, just for 1 or 2 minutes. Then visualize your best sales self, reshoot the video, and notice the difference in the energy. Did any of you notice any tangible difference? Not yet. Okay. Yes, it does need some time to practice. Sometimes we're on camera, it can feel a little bit self-conscious. I tend to try to be in a space where nobody can disturb me. I was actually feeling an energy shift. Maria, you felt one as I was speaking to you. You may have heard it in my voice. So another area I want to look at with you, apart from this self, is one of the biggest blunders that people make when it comes to sales. And I'm going to see if you can guess what it might be. So you can type in the chat, you can come on to mic if you wish. What do you think is the biggest sales blunder that people tend to make in general? Talking too much.
Talking too much. Telling
Yeah.
rather than asking.
Telling rather than asking. Yeah.
Mhm.
Difficult to convince people. Talking too much, not listening. Yeah. It is very common. There's one that is super subtle, that is so subtle in a way, but so obvious when I tell you, that it gets past many of us. Shut up and sell, not listening. Yeah, yeah. We're very aware of that, and we probably try our best not to talk too much. There's one that's even more subtle, though, and more obvious at the same time. If anyone gets it, they'll win a massive, massive gift from me, because I know no one will.
Don't
Okay,
sell
so, yeah.
Don't sell anything.
Is that a mistake?
And they will want to buy.
Is that a mistake or a good thing?
No, don't sell anything, so there's no pressure, and they will want to buy.
So is that a blunder or a good attempt?
No, if you don't, it's a good thing. You don't go
Okay.
out to sell.
Yeah.
Particularly in what I'm doing.
Right.
It's not about
Right.
I'm here to sell to you.
Yeah.
What's your problem? How can I help you? And then they will want to.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You're sort of getting close, Paul. Most of us hate to be sold to. Is that correct? Could you raise your hand if you hate being sold to? Yeah. So here's the blunder we make. Sell in the way that we would like to be sold to. We tend to sell in the way that we would like to be sold to. And it's a blunder. Why is it a blunder? Because the world is full of different people who want to communicate in different ways. And so the expert in sales sells not in the way that they would like to be sold to, but in the way that their customer would like to buy. We don't want to sell to people. We want to sell with people. And the way to sell with people is to be able to extend our style without losing our alignment. And when we can extend our style, we will attract a broader range of people. I hope that makes sense to you. Many people are opposed to the idea of selling because they negatively associate that word with being sleazy, being pushy, being manipulative, being deceitful, and all that sleazy sort of used car dealership stuff that we tend to associate with this word sales. So we extend our style without losing our alignment, our genuine nature, our ground of being. our authenticity, some would say. It's a bit of an overused word. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some very, very simple exercises, and they're a bit crazy. So I hope, Nick, that your crowd is as crazy as you and I are. And the reason for doing these crazy things is when we say a word and we do a movement, it helps us to remember it. So this is simply a way I've used and a way I've found very effective to remember long after Howard has gone exactly how to handle this. One of the things we can do is to take notes, and I'll let you do that later. But the first thing I want to do is what I would call some difficult clients. One difficult client is the person who is a controller. And that is the person who will typically say something like, don't give me any of your bullshit, cut to the chase, what have you got for me, how much is it, let's get on with it. That kind of character. Is anyone here a controller, by the way? No, you're all a cuddly lot, I think. Maybe one. Yeah, Mariah, you are a controller. So generally speaking, 1 in 5 people roughly are controllers. So that's statistically a bit close. I'd expect there to be one other hiding, but controllers don't usually hide, and they cut to the chase. So if you come across a controller, what do you believe is the best way to relax a controller? Give them control. Give them control. So my job is not for me to be relaxed. My job is to relax the controller. I'll give you 3 skeleton phrases and 3 movements to go on with it. And I would like you can go off camera if you want. You don't have to do this on camera. You know, I don't care about my reputation. That went long ago with Piers Brosnan, you know. So I'm going to do some movements, and I suggest you do the movement and say the words at the same time, because if you use these phrases with a controller, you will relax them. And the phrases I'm going to give you are just skeleton phrases. Your job, should you choose to accept it, is to put your own personality around these phrases, to phrase them in the way that only you can. But whenever you realize I'm with a controlling person here, they want to cut to the chase. The first phrase is, I value your time. Everybody? I value your time. So do it along with me. 1, 2, 3. I value your time. Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but if you do it along with me, you'll remember it. The second one, I value your opinion. Here we go. I value, well done, Maria, your opinion. And then the third phrase is, let's get straight to the point. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's get straight to the point. That's it. Do it along with me. Who thought you'd be doing this on a Tuesday night? So we're going to put it all together. Here we go. Number 1. I value your time. I value your opinion. Let's get straight to the point. And when you say those 3 phrases in your own way, that controller will relax. They know that their time is money, but you are going to get their opinion and you're going to get straight down to business. No messing around. The other really challenging type of client is the analytical. The analytical sits on the opposite end, the opposite spectrum to the controller. And that's the sort of person who says, so Nick, when you told me about Voxer.com, what's the exact bandwidth needed if I'm in Malaysia, 3 clicks north of this city, and you're in the United Kingdom in Southampton, and can you tell me who are the people behind? They want lots and lots and lots of technical details and the last thing they want to do is to feel rushed or pushed through a sales process. Hands up if you feel that by and large, I know we're all complex people, but by and large, when it comes to buying things, you're analytical. You like to go into all the details. You like to take your time, do your research. Yeah, couple of hands. Again, about 20% of your clients are analyticals. So we're going to get 3 phrases for the analytical. Are you ready? Here we go. Let's take all the time you need. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's take all the time you need. And now I know some of you are wearing glasses, but we're going to put on another pair and say something like this. The facts. Let me get you all the facts. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let me get you all the facts. And then the last one that the analytical will love is, there's no sale today. And there's no sale today. Okay, so let's take all the time you need. Let me get you all the facts. And there's no sale happening today. Interestingly, Paul, you mentioned you don't like to sell. As an analytical, you probably don't like to be sold to and feel like you're being pushed into a tunnel. I said to you, Paul, I tell you what, let's take all the time you need here. In fact, I'll get you all the facts, the statistics, the spreadsheets, and you can relax because this ain't a sales meeting, my friend. Are you feeling happy now? So these phrases...
When I get the technical handbook.
I'm sorry.
When I get the technical handbook.
Yeah, you know, that is fine. You take your time. You take your place. Now, there are a million ways of dividing people up. There's Jungian, there's NLP, there's 1,000. But I like these 2. And then there's 3 easy people, as it were. Number 1, and about 40% of people are like this, are social people. And social people love talking about holidays, their kids, their hobbies, where they love to go, the kinds of things that they're doing, the kinds of books they're reading, the clubs they belong to. They are social people. Can you raise your hand if you're essentially a... Okay, yeah. 2, I see 2 hands. There should probably be about 3 or 4. Statistically a bit difficult here because we haven't got a wide enough sample. Now, they're easy. Do you know the easy way to sell to a social? Can anyone guess? It's be social. Kind of simple. Exactly, Aldwin. Put on a party. So the last thing you want to do if you're an analytical is tell a social about facts and statistics, or tell them we're going to get straight to the point. No. It's like, where were you last week? Do you know John? Yeah, John. He goes to the same cricket club that my son goes to. And the sale is made in the social bonding that occurs. So I've summed all of that up into one single action, which is chit chat. Social. Now, if you're an analytical, chit chat might not seem like a barrel of fun, but remember, I work so you don't have to. I step out of my usual way so you feel comfortable. So just chit chat. Do you know the big challenge with a social? Anyone guess what it might be if you're chit chatting?
Taking a long time.
Well, kind of. They'll be focused on the social stuff. It can go quite quickly, in fact. An analytical will take a long time. A social can be sold fast, but the challenge is to tell them about the product, to tell them about your service, to tell them about the features and all the stuff they need to know, because they rather talk about them. This is a bit more of an advanced view, but what you have to do is this: chit chat, chit chat, chit chat. Take a little thread of the chit chat, pay a little visit to your product, and then go back to the chit chat. So let's just say it was a funeral, a virtual funeral. So anyway, John, he goes to the cricket club. Oh, I don't know if you heard about Tim. That, you know, the only reason I heard is because we supply that. We did that virtual funeral. Anyway, it was terrible about Tim, and he was gently touching on what I do and then going back into social before they've got a chance to get bored, feel they're being sold to, or any of that negative association. So that's a social. Here's another one that's a big one. Everyone, put your hand on your heart. Nick, it's on this side, mate, just in case you... Yeah, that's it. And that is...
Where is it?
Yeah, it's there, somewhere there. And that is...
It's a big
and it, yeah, it's a big heart, it is, my friend. And that is an emotional. And an emotional buys on their feelings. How many of you buy because it feels right? It just feels right. Yeah. And again, you know, you can be an analytical and an emotional, a social and a bit of a, you can dance between these. So here's the thing. If an emotional needs feelings, what do you think is the number one feeling they need to feel in order to make a purchase? Comfortable, very, very safe. Yes, absolutely. You're right. So here's the way we do it. Hand on heart. We stroke the hand and we say the magic word, reassurance. Everybody, reassurance. Yeah. Well, you never thought you'd be doing this, did you? You're a good sports, all of you. Reassurance. Yes. This, Nick, I'm telling you, mate, this course is going to be the best course you have ever done. You are going to look back and say, my God, I am so delighted. I feel ecstatic. I feel amazing. I feel confident. I feel reassured. You'll notice the voice is becoming reassured. Now, I have to actually believe in my product. The way I stay aligned is not to be sleazy and cheesy, but to actually know that if Nick goes ahead and works with me, more confident, more relaxed, because I've got a massive, massive value here I'm offering. So this course is reliant on it being genuine. Good. How are we doing so far? Thumbs up if you kind of like this sort of stuff. And you don't have to say anything if you don't. Well, you can put your thumb down. All right. Thumbs up. Great. So let's just do a quick recap. And you can do this along with me. For controllers, I value your time. I value your opinion. Let's get straight to the point. For analyticals, let's take all the time you need. Let me get you all the facts. There's no sale today. For an emotional, chit chat, chit chat, chit chat, chit chat, and occasionally a little thread down into your product and then back into the chit chat, chit chat, chit chat. And for emotionals, it's all about, ready? You can sing it out. Feelings, reassurance. Okay, fantastic. Good. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that little dance around. We've got about 20 minutes left, which is perfect, because I just want to touch on another point that people feel all kinds of stuff about. And that is, in my view, costing people a lot of money, and they're leaving a lot of money on the table. I do a wonderful presentation. Bing, bada, boom, bada, ba. I'm relating to the client. They're loving it. And then at a certain point, they say something like, "Thank you so much, Hal. That's been fantastic. I'll have a think about it. A brochure you could send me? Could you send me a proposal?" Or they'll say, "Thank you so much, Hal. That was absolutely fantastic. Of course, I'll need to talk to my partner." Or they'll say, "Howard, that was brilliant, but you know, I never rush into decisions. I always like to take my time." How do you feel when somebody says that to you? How do you feel? Boom, where to now? Boom as in boom, or boom as in my God, oh screw it. No, right, feel down. We feel deflated, right? Yes. Do you know at the end, right? We feel deflated because when we get the hand, a little let down, it's not their choice, it's their choice. Though not an end. Okay, kind of. When we get the hand, everyone give me the hand, give me that. When we feel that hand, we think that hand means no. That hand does not mean no. That hand means not yet. Not yet. Now that not yet can be turned to a yes very, very quickly. And so the first thing is, okay, let me help you think about it. Well, Jeff, I'm going to take you to level next, Apple level with this. So the first thing to realize is 50% of the time, approximately, that hand, just between you and me, that hand is not true. When they say I have to think about it, they're not really going to go home, sit in their sofa. Their wife comes over, "How are you doing, Howard?" "I'm thinking about what Nick offered me. I'm thinking about," "I'm thinking," and they're there all weekend. No, they're not thinking. They walk out, and guess what? You may never see them again. So the first thing we do is we stay positive because we know that this is a not yet. And we know that 50% of the time it ain't even true. So if we get deflated, we've lost the sale. If we try and answer that hand, 50% of the time, we've left money on the table. Because if they don't really have to think about it, and you say something like, "Well, what exactly do you have to think about?" Or "Let's help you think through the decision, but actually it wasn't true," we are never getting that sale. So we want to be able to identify whether or not the hand is true. And there's a very simple, natural way to do it. Does anyone know what that way might be? In order to establish the truth, we take the hand away. Here's the way we do it. That's great, but I'll have to think about it. Absolutely, that's no problem. Please take as much time as you want. Can I just ask you, before you head off, if you think it through and it all seems to make sense to you and you understand it and it's affordable, is it something you might want to go ahead with? So what I've done is I've taken away the objection and I'm saying, provided you talk to your partner or provided you think about it, provided you take the kind of time you need, is this something you may still want to go ahead with? If they say yes, the objection was true. And if they say, well, actually, and they come up with another objection, that first objection wasn't true. And there's a higher likelihood, although it's not certain, that the second objection will be true. So I just want you to know that one technique, and again, I've given a bit of a movement around this so you remember it, because it's a critical time where we can get a little bit tense and anxious, or we can just feel, well, if they make any kind of objection, I don't want to sell them, I don't want to be pushy, so I'm just going to let them go. 80% of your money will be left on the table if you make that critical mistake. It's a huge difference in what you do in this moment, and I want you to feel relaxed. So the first thing we do when we get the hand is we don't slump, we don't say bye-bye, we take it, we put it on our heart, and we love it. Everyone, take the hand and love it. And there are two ways we can love that hand. The king, queen, the princess, the prince of loving is empathy. If we literally do the same thing ourselves, that is the way we buy, then we have the right to say, that's absolutely fine. Is talk to my wife too before I make a big decision. So totally fine. That's empathy. If we don't actually do it ourselves, then we use the second best, which is sympathy. I understand that it's important for you to talk to your wife. Now, we must not fake that moment. That empathy, that sympathy has to be real. If you try and fake it, my God, it's worse than not even doing it. But that's the first response. It's not deflating. It's not off you go. It's loving it with empathy or with sympathy. Here's the thing. When somebody says, I've got to talk to my wife, or I've got to think about it, or something like that, what do you think they're really saying underneath the surface?
I'm not sure. You haven't convinced me whether I've got to check whether I can afford it,
Right?
Or whether it's value.
Right. They've got right. Maybe interested. I'm not sure, but one thing we're sure of, you're absolutely right, Paul, is they're not convinced, and because for some reason or other they're not convinced, they basically want to. However, you have been nice, you've been polite, you've been reasonable, you've listened, you haven't talked too much, you've answered their questions, you've bonded, you're a good person. So in the code that we use, we say, well, I'll have to think about it, or have you got a brochure? That's code for I want to go. Now, if we let them go, we know we've lost 80% of the sale. However, if we hold on to them, then we're going to come across as really pushy. So here's what we do.
We help them.
We
help them. Yes, I have got a brochure. I will send it to you. I'll send you a copy so that you can share it with your partner.
Okay, and then what?
And well, then we need a follow-up. When can I follow you?
Then you've let them go.
Yeah.
Then you've let them go. You've said, yes, I've got a brochure, I'll send it to you. Okay, thank you very much. Goodbye. You've lost 80% of your sales. 80% on average. So we can't let them go, but we don't want to be pushy and hold on to them, right? We don't want to think, my God, I'm stuck now with sales hell. What is going on? I can't get out. I have to pretend I lost my connection. So here's what we do. We let them go psychologically. We let them go emotionally. And here's how we do it. We use a phrase like, before you go, before we end this Zoom meeting, before you head off back to your workplace, your office, your life, your dinner. And when we use that phrase, before you go, however you want to phrase it, they breathe a sigh of relief because they know we're going to let them go, and that's what they want. So we let them go psychologically with that phrase. And now we use a whoop technique. Now, is anyone in this room old enough to is Columbo? Yeah. Okay. You and me, Nick. That's
Sorry,
it.
can you
Blimey.
say that again?
Do you remember
that?
Yeah, sorry, it's China. I'm blaming China. Do you remember the detective series Columbo? Yeah.
I wanted a trench coat just like his.
Yeah, someone in a trench coat. His name was Peter Falk, and he was a bumbling, untidy, dishevelled detective. And he would be with the murderer or the murderess, which you knew because we as audience knew who did it before the show almost began, and we watched Peter Falk in action. And he'd ask all these stupid, dumb questions, and he'd bumble and fumble. The murderer was completely relaxed, and then he'd turn around and he'd just go, "Yes, Jeff." He'd just go, "By the way, where were you on Thursday night when your wife drowned in the pool?" And he would ask that absolute killer question, and the murderer would go, "Oh God," he was caught. So we're going to use a similar technique. So before you go, and now we whoop with a Peter Falk technique. Before you go, can I just ask you, or you mentioned earlier, or you told me before that, whatever it might be, a phrase like that, then you ask a killer question. And the killer question could be something like this. I'm only going to use you, Paul, because you're the only person I know in terms of your career. Don't you think when you shuffle off this mortal coil, wherever you are in the world, your loved ones deserve to be there? A killer question. A killer question from Nick. You mentioned before you were having trouble with your software. Don't you feel you'd like somebody to take that burden off your shoulders? A killer question. And then we follow it with what you've all mentioned, silence. If it's a killer question, they need to work that through in their mind. They need to picture their own mortality. They need to picture the funeral. They're in Bristol and their wife's in Brisbane, and what the hell? They've got to go through a process. If we talk our way over the question, we lose the power. So I hope this makes sense. I'm going to put it all together for you now in a neat package. So we get the hand. Everyone, give me the hand. Give me that. Right. We stay upright because it's not a no. It's a not yet. We take it away by loving it. We give it empathy. We give it sympathy. We love it. And then we use a phrase like, before you go, everyone, before you go, and now, whoop, can I just ask you? Can I just ask you? And then this is a question mark, obviously, a killer question followed by silence. A killer question, silence. So the hand will go, killer question, silence. Do that right, and you're going to save a massive amount of digital money on the table in a super comfortable way. Super comfortable. Because we know that it's ending, but if that question is killer, that could be the question that takes the matter into a yes. And then we've got 8 whole minutes to focus on my absolute favorite thing, which is closing. Now, I hate the word closing because it sounds closed, and people hate closing. How many people here hate closing? Just you and me, Nick? Okay. Everyone else loves it? Yeah, maybe. I think that could be a yes from Margaret. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, many of us don't like it. Yeah, Maria, I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. I apologize. So the thing with closing is we feel we're pushing people into a box, and we don't like it. We don't want to be pressured. However, you have a gift. you have expertise, you have a brilliant service, product, coaching, course that's going to absolutely help people. If you do not ask for the money, I would argue that you are doing a disservice to your potential clients, because they will go away and they will shop around and they'll find a competitor who perhaps doesn't do as good a job as you, but is more ballsy, or whatever you want to call it, and asks for the money. And because they asked for the money when nobody else did, they go, okay, yes then. So the ability to simply and comfortably and joyfully ask for the money is going to make you money. But more important than that, it's going to make sure that your clients become clients and don't go off into the jungle of the unscrupulous person out there who they may come across, who may be more pushy but get the result. I hope that makes sense. So here's a quick exercise to finish with, to get super comfortable around closing. 2 times in a sales process where we tend to get a bit fearful. One is at the beginning when we don't quite know who we're talking to, or if we're with a big crowd, and the other is at the end when we're going to ask for the money. We can get scared. So the first part of the exercise, and we haven't got time to do it now, but it's something you can do if you want, is write down every single phrase you can to ask for the money. Should we do it? Should we go for it? Do you want to put your name on it? Will you pencil this in? Do you want to reserve it? Go ahead. Are you okay? Are you good with that? Should we go? Yes. Ready? Okay. Let's do it. Why not? Don't hold back. You can see I've done this before. I own many, many ways of asking. So that's part 1, is just simply brainstorm as many ways as you can think of asking for the money. And now here is the wacky part, the zany part. And that is to take those closing phrases and to put them in a form of a nursery rhyme. I know, you're beginning to regret coming, aren't you? But that's just life. It's the way I roll. And it's made me over 1 million. So it's very effective. It's got me to train with senior leaders. Super effective. It's simple. So here's how it might go. Shall we go for it? Do you want to put your name on it? Let's do it now. Let's go ahead. Are you ready? Do you want one? Why not? Wait, right? You just put it to a nursery rhyme. The reason is not just that I want to make you feel like a twat, you know, not just because Howard is one of those actor types. No, no, no. Nursery rhymes put us into a relaxed, childlike state. And when we sing over and over again, shall we do it? Do you want to put your name in it? The words start to lose their sting and they become playful. Now, I'm not suggesting you say to your client, shall we do it? Do you want to put your name? You know, I think you're crazy. But you can introduce a little bit of that lightness, that humor into this moment, because the client is probably fearful of making the wrong decision. And if we are fearful, wow, the fear magnifies, multiplies. If we are super relaxed, we will relax our potential client. So it might just sound like, Nick, would you like to put your name on it? Paul, would you like to go ahead? Mariah, why wait? See, just light. It's light with a smile. It means nothing. But by asking that question alone, you'll increase your sales if you're not currently asking for the money. So I hope that has been a helpful review of some of the main areas that I feel people struggle with. So number 1 is, whether you like it or not, try it, visualize your best sales self, inhabit that physically, and make a video before and after to see if there's any difference. Number 2, sell not as you want to be sold to, but as your client wants to buy. So controllers, value your time, value your opinion, straight to the point, Analyticals take all the time you need to get you the facts. No sale today. Emotional, chit chat, thread, chit chat. Emotionals, feelings, reassurance. Okay. When you get the hand, you love it with empathy, with sympathy. Before you go, can I just ask you killer questions? Silence. And then closing is a song. Sing it like a song, and then deliver it with ease, with joy, with a smile, with lightness. And you'll help your clients over the line, and you'll save them from making a poor decision with somebody else. So I hope that's been a useful series of tips. All of these are part of a much bigger book that I have just finished. It's hot off the press. In fact, it's not even on the press. And if you go to howardsfreegift.com, you can get a free copy when it's published, which I'm expecting it to be in days. You just go to howardsfreegift.com. I think there's a QR code you can scan, and you pop in your email, and I will then, or someone in my team will then send you a digital free copy as soon as the book's available. And it's called Passion to Profit: Sell with Integrity in the Digital Age. And it's really not a book, it's really a handbook, because it unveils 9 of these practical and powerful pillars that really are ways to make more sales online while you're staying aligned with your values. So if you want to join the wait list, I'd love to have you do that. If you've got any questions about sales, I'm happy to answer some questions if we have time. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet some of you again. Nick, it's always a pleasure to meet you, my friend. And I hope this has been a useful 50 minutes for you.
That has been excellent. I love the idea of putting that into a nursery rhyme as well. It appeals to my sense of reverence and fun. We do have a question, actually. Aldwin.
Thank you. I really enjoyed that, Howard. That was fantastic. It's definitely put a new spin on sales for me. I want to just some of those stats, and I'm not normally a detailed person. However, I feel an incomplete because I got 20% for analytical people that are 20% clients. Social is 40%. What were the other two? What were the percentages?
So yeah, I messed up the stats. So my one of my weak points is my numerical skills. Don't tell anyone, because I'm a wealth manager, when I'm not doing this other stuff. So, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure of the stats, but the minority of people are analyticals and controllers. It may be 10, 15% or so. The majority are socials and emotionals. And there are other categories as well. And I guess it's, 35% of effing stats are wrong. Exactly, Jeff. So it's not really so much about the stats, really, as the fact that you will have a certain style. I think you said you were a social. And so, you may well want to sell in that social way. And when somebody says to you, look, forget all that, do you know John? Do you know Jim? Just tell me, what are the facts about your you may feel offended. You may feel put out of sort. You may feel, this is not the right client for me. I don't want to work with this person. What we have to be aware of is not the stats, but the fear. The fear. So when we're in a fearful position, and we all fear being sold to, being pushed, being persuaded to buy something we don't want, we tend to put up a bit of a front. And so actually what you're looking for, just to extend beyond stats, is a shift. When an analytical shows you an emotion, the sale is made. When a social says to you, I think that would really go well in the garden where Johnny, he plays next to the swimming pool, the sale is made. You're looking for that shift. And when you get that shift, you've built the bridge. So more than stats, because I actually missed out a whole entire type. So, forgive my imperfection, but this is the downside of not having slides and a script. But already, if you can extend beyond social and deal with analyticals, because analyticals would maybe drive you slightly crazy. And for you as an analytical, a controller might drive you slightly crazy. So when we learn to dance with these people and do the waltz with them, we will win more business. Simple as that. I'm not sure statistically how much more, but it will be more than currently.
Great, thank you. And one other question is around how do you deal with common objections such as, you know, I don't have the money or I don't have the time to do this. How do you deal with that, knowing the personalities, etc.? Is there some quick things you can give around that?
Yeah, not quick. They are quick, but they're not quick enough to do now.
Right.
But there are very, very powerful ways. I may have put some of them in the book. I don't think I did, just to tease you, because, you know, I'm trying to lure you into working with me. I mean, I don't do this for nothing. But one thing, well, I am for Nick, but one thing I would say, and it's not for nothing, obviously. One thing I would say is this. Many people get stuck with the objection that they would never have had they opened in the right way. So the number one way to take care of objections at the end is to tidy up your beginning. And without going into too many details, the more of the common objections you can preempt at the beginning, the more your potential client will relax and let go of what's going on in their mind, which is maybe, bloody hell, Howard's going to be expensive to work with. He can't be cheap if he works for Apple. Bloody hell, I can't pay for his course. Or, you know, all these, whatever it might be, that in a dialogue. If I said to you during the course of a sales presentation early on, you know, my work goes from, you know, at the very top of the tree, $30,000, all the way down to $47, you're relieved. Because you know, well, I could probably afford $47. So it's really about perhaps looking into the mind of your clients. And the other thing just to be aware of is money is thought to be the most common objection. But as Paul so rightly pointed out, I believe, or Jeff, I'm not sure, you've both been super active, it's often actually a value question. And so that's why I haven't got time to go into it, because value is a complex psychological phenomena that has many possible branches. Value is like a tree, and I would be doing you a disservice if I gave you a quick fix, because it would only be a twig on the branch of the trunk of the tree. So
value comes in more than just the financial value.
Absolutely.
It's the value of having the service or not having it, and particularly in my case. So the value of doing a live stream, well, it's less than one person's one-way airfare to come to the funeral from Europe, and they want to bring the whole family. Well, there's a financial value proposition, but it's also value to the daughter of the lady who's in the coffin if she lives next door but has COVID and can't step outside, because that's an emotional value. Right.
There are many types of value, in fact, many.
Value.
And, well, it's a bit more than that in my world. Remember, I've been in sales since I was 9, and I'm actually older than 12 now. I know, shocking, I know. So I've been around a few years, and value manifests in one of the reasons we struggle is that value manifests in ways that we ourselves are not always aware of. And if I'm not aware of the value, how can I bring that awareness to potential clients? So really, it needs to be this could be a whole other hour easily. Yes, it's sometimes emotional. Yes, it's sometimes a case of saving time, saving money. But in my view, those are still sort of on the surface. I believe that there are deeper drives, and getting to the really deep drives of our clients answering their really deep needs, their real heartfelt needs is what brings value. So yeah, great question, Aldwin. Aldwin, is that right? Yeah, good
Aldwin.
Welsh name, I think. Aldwin, Aldwin, yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think we've run out of time, sadly. I could actually listen to some more of this for another hour, I think. Yeah. So thanks very much for coming on, Howard. If people do want to get in touch with you and sort of have a conversation with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Get the book.
Get the book.
Yeah, howardsfreegift.com. If you want to send me an email, Howard
that link didn't appear to work, so I've dropped it.
Really?
Yeah, I've dropped the actual link into the...
Oh, there we go. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So, yeah, there you go. That's where I'm weak. You may be beginning to sense this, Aldwin and others, is on the whole technical side. You know, I'm great at connecting with people. I'm rubbish. You know, Nick, I probably need your help, mate. You know,
and I'm good at the
technically
with people. I'm useless with people.
There you go. Yeah. So, you know, I hand it over to VAs. Sometimes they do a good job, sometimes they don't. But yeah, if the link doesn't work, that's the direct link there. And you see it says True Self Sales. So howard@trueselfsales.com is my email, and you're very welcome to email me. I'd love to chat with you further about any aspects of selling, particularly online. I think it adds to the challenge of how to reach and engage people in this weird world of Zoom. And yeah, that's it. howard@trueselfsales.com. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Nick, for that.
Fabulous, fabulous. So yes, we are in the tech world. We are in the Zoom world. Lots more sales happen over this sort of medium here. So I think it's just become part of the norm. Now we do have a gift, a door prize for tonight as well too. And I believe that's with you, Howard, to unpack some of this as well too. Do you want to give us just a quick run through, and then we'll bring up our special way of drawing it?
Yeah, I've got an exclusive complimentary gift for the winner, which is a one-to-one with me for 20 minutes to do a sales analysis for you of where you are currently and what your next best step will be to increase your income whilst not sacrificing your integrity.
Excellent. All right, well, let's bring up that wheel of names, and then we can draw the lucky winner. There we go. So the wheel of names is up, and everyone's name is in there. So let's give it a spin, see who our lucky winner is. And of course, you have to be here to win. It is Anthony. So Anthony, are you in the room? Let's have a look through the people here. There he is. He's back on camera. Thumbs up. So fabulous. All right. So congratulations. You are the lucky. In fact, this is great for you because sales is definitely very much part of your role. So we will connect you up by email tomorrow, and then you can organise a time together with Howard. So congratulations. Well done. All right, and that is our show for this evening. So once again, really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us again, Howard. And look forward to getting you back on again some other time as well, and more particularly getting your book as well too. So I've registered for that. I'm looking forward to reading that. So
Great.
Pressure to get it out and published and into our Christmas stockings for the it's only 4 weeks time, isn't it? So,
exactly. Give yourself a Christmas gift of it's been a joy to write, which I know is a sign of my being in alignment. Walking the walk, being in alignment with myself. So Nick, I'd love to, glowing review only, obviously praise only.
6-star review, even though Google only allows 5. So we'll work out a way. All right. Well, that is our session for tonight. Thank you everyone for coming along. If you do want to watch it again, this will be up on the YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon. So if you're not subscribed to that, go to the YouTube channel. We'll drop the link into chat. And when you do subscribe to it, just click that little bell that appears beside it as well. And then you'll get a notification when that video has been uploaded. And of course, feel free to share it with anyone else that you think might benefit from it as well too. So once again, appreciate you coming on, Howard. Appreciate everyone still being here tonight. We will be back here same time next week. And that'll be our second to last session. So look forward to seeing you then. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nickcree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.